My question to you is this. I would like you to imagine this morning. Imagine losing everything. Just imagine all that you have, all that you loved of life and was taken away from you in the blink of an eye. Just imagine with me this morning in one fell swipe, not only did you lose all and every one, but in the midst of this loss, in the midst of these things occurring, you become a bond slave and then accused of a crime that you did not commit and incarcerated unjustly. Just imagine for 13 years of your life you would be transformed from a teenager to a grown man in a life that was not your own. Would you remain devoted this morning in your faith? Would you continue to trust in that which you believe to be true for so many years before? "13 years. 13 years. Rejected by his brethren, rebuked by his father, rendered into slavery, relegated into bondage. Me and my soul. Remembered not, removed from his position of power, falsely accused, suffering for over a decade." One would have to ask this question, beloved. Stay with me now. For what purpose? What purpose? Forgotten and forsaken, but believe in the words of the Lord. Joseph's devoted faith in the midst of adversity upon adversity, tragedy upon tragedy. One would have to wonder, did his faith ever fail? I mean, did Joseph ever say, "I just don't know if this is going to work out"? But we may ask ourselves this morning, how in the world did he do this? What would I do? What would you do? How would I react? Would my faith be strong enough? It is dependent upon how much desire you have to believe what God has said this morning. Your belief is directly associated with your faith, and your faith is measured upon the willingness of your desire to press forward, to move onward. The labor which we have in our life, the labor when it seems to get you nowhere quick. Our minds, my friend, our minds, beloved, must reserve the immediate for the future. Our investment today will establish the foundation for tomorrow. All that we do and all that we say will render one of two futures. It will either render a future on a faulty foundation, or it will render a future fortified upon a foundation within the fortress of faith surrounding our every step. Sure, we're going to fail, beloved. Sure, we're going to be injured, and most certainly we're going to have delays. But beloved, failure is not final, injuries are not eternal, and delays are not denials. He didn't rebuke his brethren. He didn't look at them and curse them, but rather saw the greater purpose in his trials, the greater reason for his troubles. Beloved, do you see the greater purpose of your labor in this life? Do you see the greater good of your troubles when you're working day in and day out and witnessing to countless souls, waiting on an event of encouragement to occur? Do you look past the static? Do you listen through the noise for what is waiting? For an answered prayer, the fruit of your labor, ascending before to save a life. Finally, he was 13 years away from his family, held in bondage as a household slave, incarcerated for a crime he did not commit. Joseph, the favored son of Jacob, is finally at the age of 30, having never lost his belief. Avoiding the realm of despair, removed himself from walking the path of depression. Joseph, beloved, was knocked down, but he stood back up. Joseph's legs were cut out from underneath him, but he refused to stay down. He removed defeat from his thoughts, renewed his mind, revitalized his spirit, walked worthy vocation wherewith he was called. Joseph rebuked doubt. His faith was strong. His heart was focused. His mind was fresh, and his spirit was fueled to serve the bounty of the Lord's blessing in his life. Therefore, after 13 long, lean, and learning years, Joseph was finally rewarded according to his faith. We must be devoted. Can I encourage you this morning that we must be devoted? If we're thrown into a pit, we need to look up. If we are sold into bondage, we need to stay strong. If we are put in situations of servitude, we need to press forward. If we are falsely accused, we need to do right. If we are forgotten about, we need to have faith. And if all of these things happen in any shape, form, or fashion in our life, we need to dig our heels in, dig deep, have a devoted faith in the Lord that He will not fail us at any time. He's never forsaken you. His compassions, they fail not. His mercies, they fail not. They are renewed every single morning. If the sun shines upon your brow tomorrow, we need to thank God for it, surrender the day unto Him, and commit to move forward despite situations and despite circumstances of our life. Beloved, Joseph possessed a devoted faith. So I want to ask you this again in closing. Imagine losing everything. Just imagine all that you have loved of life was taken away from you in the blink of an eye. Just imagine in one fell swipe. Not only did you lose all, but you lost every one. But in the midst of those things, in the midst of all of your loss, you became a bondslave. Then you were accused of a crime you did not commit, incarcerated unjustly. Just imagine for 13 years you were transformed from a teenager to a grown man in life, in a life which is not your own. Would you remain devoted in your life? Would you remain devoted in your belief? Would you remain devoted in your faith this morning? Would you continue to trust that which you believe to be true for so many years before, if just today you lost it all? Beloved, what is your faith?